This is modify video 28. In this video, we're going to create our metronome action parser. So let me create the types we need. Okay, so here's my tests. I'm just doing null checks per usual for the parameters that the getParser method takes. And again, per usual, I've got two methods, one for successful or correctly formatted input and one for incorrectly formatted input. Now this is a little bit messy, but basically what I want to do here is check both the expected period in the tick for each metronome tick, as well as the tick type. So I've got two separate arrays here, and obviously the input that we're passing in. So here's an example of how I want this to look. So we're saying we want a metronome, and the first tick has no delay, and it's a bell, which is what the star means. And then the second tick is a second later, and it's a click because there's no, that's the default. So there's no star or minus sign, so it's a click. And then a second after that, we've got another click. And then 2 seconds after that, we've got nothing. In other words, a tick with no sound. So then I am, saying that the first delay is 0, the second delay is 1 second after that, and 1 second after that, and then 2 seconds after that. And these are the tick types that I expect. So then I have this initial assertion here just to make sure that those arrays are the same length, because if they're not, we've done something wrong with our test case here. And then I'm doing the usual stuff, getting the parser and passing in the input, making sure the result's not null, making sure that the ticks in the resultant metronome action, there's the same number of ticks in there as in our expected data here. And then I'm using sequence equals to make sure that every period in this array is the same as the period in the ticks collection. And I'll do the same thing for the expected tick types. I'm not entirely happy with this test because it's so difficult to read compared to normal, so I'm not super excited by the fact that we've got arrays being passed in here, but I'm going to leave that for now. And obviously I've only got one test case here. I'm going to flesh that out once I've decided that this is actually working. It's a bit more complicated than the other ones we've written, so I want to try it first. And incorrectly formatted input, I've just got one test case as well, but it's a much simpler implementation as per usual. Okay, so let's make sure the tests fail. And they are, so let's have a look at the implementation. Okay, so here's the implementation I've come up with. First of all, I've separated out the parsing of metronome ticks into this separate little parser here. So it parses out the period before, and then can optionally parse one of these two characters after that, where the asterisk represents a bell and the minus sign represents none. And then it creates a new metronome tick based on that, and it calls this method to convert the character to a metronome tick type. So given that, I've got this get parser, which parses out a metronome action, and it does so by first parsing metronome and then some whitespace, and then at more whitespace and then ticks, uses our metronome tick parser delimited by commas, and then uses all that to create the metronome action. Now I forgot that we also need the logger service for our metronome action, so I've gone and fixed that up and fixed the tests up. So let's try our tests. Okay, we need to use a loose mock so that getLogger can be called on our logger service. Okay, just back from debugging that, two things are a problem here. First of all, forgotten to assert that this is not null. That's easy enough. And the second problem is this. We are delimiting by a single character, but in our test we've got a comma and then some white space. So actually we kind of don't care if there's any white space in there either. So I'm going to delimit by that as a token, and basically what the token method does is it allows you to have white space on either side of the previous parser. So in this case, we can have white space on either side of the comma. Let's see how that goes. Okay, now that's all passing, but I have not added all the test cases we need to have in here. So let me do that quickly. Okay, we're going to add a bunch more tests around casing and white space and different duration or period specification here, and likewise with the incorrect format, we've got various different error cases that we have. So let's try those. Okay, here it will successfully parse up to that point, but then obviously that's going to stop the metronome parser from matching anymore. So in a way, the test case could be incorrect or the test is incorrect. Actually, I don't think this test case adds anything, so I'm just going to remove that. There we go, all passing. So that is our metronome action parser, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.